How's it going, everybody? CloaknDaggerish, and today we're playing Entropia Universe. Tonight I will be hunting Argonauts over on land area 42, as well as having a little bit of a Entropia themed discussion with you. But before we get into that, let's go over where I'm at and what I'm using for hunting tonight. I'm hunting over here on the lower left-hand side of Planet Calypso. We're going to be hunting right around here on this bottom right-hand corner. We're going to be hunting Argonauts, level like 8 to 10, level 12 in there. What I'm using for gear, adjusted pixie armor, and I am using a AR Matrix LR15. I have it maxed out. My stats for an LR20 aren't good enough to use that yet before I want to switch over, so I'm sticking with the LR15 and just to skill up a little bit more. All right, let's get at it. So for tonight's discussion of Entropia Universe, and what I really want to achieve from this video is not only to entertain you with this little bit of hunting that I'm going to do here, but I'd like to get a discussion kind of going with maybe a series of videos, and this is going to be the first one to kind of kick that off to a certain degree. But I have a lot of different ideas that I think could really improve Entropia Universe in some shape or form. And I just kind of want to see what other people think of them, whether or not they agree with my ideas, or if they think they're dumb, or I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that are going to point out all the different flaws with my ideas and why they don't work. But in general, I think it would be kind of fun as a group, as a community, to discuss different ways that Entropia Universe could be improved, because it is a fantastic game to begin with, but I think it has so much more potential that it could be just an amazing game that so many more people, I think, would be a lot more interested in if it had different elements added to it, or even just certain changes. And this kind of is going to bring me into the first topic of these discussions, and I feel that money is a big thing that holds Entropia Universe back. Let's just kind of think about what Entropia Universe is. It's a video game made by a company designed to make money. And so what's different about Entropia Universe is it is a free-to-play video game. It doesn't have a subscription. You don't really have to pay anything for it up front. Is that the ability to take money out of the game is what makes it unique, and everything in the game having value. No other video game really does this. There are a few that are similar to it, but none of them have been around and have the experience like Entropia Universe does. So I think the biggest thing that's holding Entropia Universe back, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, the majority of the money that comes in from Entropia Universe is from the players. It depends on players depositing money into the game. That's what pays for the servers. It pays for the developers. It pays for your payouts. That's where the money from the loot pool comes from, is from other people putting money into the game. Unlike other video games where they have a certain amount of money that they can depend on coming in, whether the games are bought up front or there's a subscription fee, or they're very heavily microtransaction based, they have a dependent source of money coming in. And I think Entropia Universe is kind of more or less along the lines of that microtransaction format. But with this game, I feel that it's not exactly the best way for this game to make money. Or at least, I feel that there are better options where Entropia Universe and MindArk don't have to depend on the players depositing so much, because this game is very expensive to play when you really start to think about it and start to break things down. Yes, you can play for free. You can grind your way to, up the ladder, so to speak. But making deposits and playing that way just makes it a lot more practical. And in general, I think more people find it fun. Yes, there are a lot of people who do enjoy the grind, and I respect them for that. But anyways, the where I'm going with this whole spiel is I had this idea, and I shared it on stream with a couple other YouTubers and people who happened to be watching it at the time. And they seem to agree with me on this a little bit. But I don't want to say solution, but an idea that I had that would allow MindArk and Entropia Universe to pull in more money so that they could use it to further develop their game and give their players better and more frequent payouts would be to add in-game advertising. Now, I know a lot of you are going to freak out and be like, I don't want anything to do with that. It's, I like Entropia Universe the way it is. But just hear me out. The online advertising business is a multi-billion-dollar business. I mean, they spend billions and billions of dollars every year putting ads up on the internet, whether if it's in games, it's on social media, web pages, wherever. It's everywhere on the internet. And they're willing to pay through the nose to get their ads in front of people. So I kind of had the idea of why not put ads in Entropia Universe? And in a way, the game is actually already set up to do this. If you look around in places like the buildings with all the terminals, there's ads in there. They're owned by players, but they're still technically ads, whether they're advertising a shop or a land area or whatever. People are advertising their stuff in game. So why couldn't MindArk? And I don't want them to take away all the player-based advertisement. My suggestion would be have two separate types of advertisement. You'd have advertisement for in-game players, where they could advertise their shops and land areas and whatever, and keep that separate, and their pricing for those billboards and stuff separate, because that's already established about how much they got to pay. That's fine where it's at, but I think they should add more ad space, or maybe take some of those and use them as commercial ad space and sell commercial ads, whether it be for computer parts or toothpaste or deodorant. I don't know, whatever they want to advertise in a video game, they could do that, or even advertise other video games. I always see ads for mobile games. Put some mobile game ads in there and use that money towards whatever they need to make Entropia Universe an amazing game, or even just to satisfy the player base a little bit more. I think this is a great idea, and it really doesn't come to any cost to the players themselves. Another thing is it kind of makes their income a little bit more predictable, instead of, how many people are going to deposit this month. If they have X amount of ad spaces that they're going to sell for X amount of dollars, they can kind of, as long as they sell them all to the ad companies, they have a certain amount of money coming in, and I'm sure they could set up contracts and stuff for a couple months or years, or however long they want to run the ads. I think that would be huge for them. Another idea, same idea, but what they could do, and this was actually Bahb Silunt's idea. Shout out to him. I'll have a link to his channel in the description below. He's a fellow Entropia Universe content creator, makes a lot of great stuff. But anyways, I was chatting with him, and he suggested, why not put ad banners above the crafting terminals? A lot of people sit in front of the crafting terminals, give them something to watch while they're crafting. I know a lot of people go AFK when they do it, but it's just an idea of another place where those ads could be placed inside the game, would be on top of those crafting terminals. And I agree with him. I think that's a really good idea. It could be just a big change for Entropia Universe in general. Like I said, maybe a lot of you don't like the idea of having in-game advertisement, but I know you all like having nice payouts, seeing those swirlies, and I think if MindArk had more money to work with, they could be a little less stingy with their money. And I'm not trying to make them the bad guys or anything, or saying they're, taking all the money and just pocketing it. They have a very tricky job, and I really respect them for keeping the game balanced and keeping it alive as long as they have. They've really done a really good job, and good for them. I guess the only other thing that you could really add in on top of that, if players really hated having the in-game advertisement, is maybe, and I don't know how this works. I'm not a program developer or anything. I'm a mechanic from the Midwest. But I'm sure it would be possible somehow is to maybe set up a subscription fee where for, like $1 a month or a couple bucks a month, you could remove all those ads from your game somehow. Or it would just, I don't know, block them out. I'm sure that'd be really tricky to do, but it's just an idea, and then it's a little bit more revenue coming in for MindArk to work with. And I really think they would do a good job of using the money to further develop the game and not being a greedy gaming company like EA or something and just pocket the money or give themselves big bonuses. Anyways, this was one of my ideas for Entropia Universe, and I'm really curious to see what you as a community feel about this. I wanna know what you think. Do you think this is a good idea? Is this something that you'd be interested in seeing used in Entropia Universe, or do you think it's a terrible idea and they should, not have anything to do with it? I'm really curious to know what everybody else thinks, and I don't know, maybe this has been looked into already, and for whatever reason it just wouldn't work, or they, couldn't find the right advertising companies and stuff that would be interested, or they didn't have enough companies that would be interested in using the ad space. Because it is kind of tricky with it being a odd demographic, I guess you would say, because it's really hard to pin down who's playing the game. Because a lot of times advertisement companies want their ads in front of very specific demographics of people. And with Entropia Universe, you're getting people from all over the world. It's a very diverse game, and the age range is huge. The average, I don't know what the average Entropia Universe player is, but I mean, there's people who start playing when they're 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there, and I've seen players in their mid 70s who are still playing. So I mean, you just get a huge range of different players, and that might be tricky to find ads that would fit such a broad spectrum of people. Is another thing that they got to consider. But yeah, this is just something that's been on my mind for a really long time, and I just want to throw it out there to everybody. Like I said, let me know down in the comments. Let's have a nice civil conversation about it, and just kind of see where it goes. And who knows, maybe MindArk will catch wind of this and maybe think it's a good idea and try it. I don't know. But yeah, Entropia Universe is just such a cool game. I really, really like it, and I want to see them do so much more with it. And I just, they hold themselves back so much, I think, just because, one, money, and two, the game is very well balanced, and they have to be very careful about how they adjust the game. And I understand that, and I know some of my ideas are probably way too off the wall for them to be used, and probably none of these I'll ever see implemented into the game, and that's okay. But this is just kind of like theory crafting what I wanted to discuss here tonight. So, all right, so there's my ideas. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. It looks like the hunt's wrapping up here. Let's head over to Twin Peaks and see how we did on this 50-ped Argonaut hunt. All right, we're back here at Twin Peaks, and let's see how we did. We had a couple big hits on this run, on our 50-ped run here. Whoops, I always forget to adjust this window so stupid webcam doesn't cover it up. But anyways, I had one for 14 ped and one for 15 ped. There's 54.23 there, plus another 91 pec there. So that gives us 5514. So we're already 5 ped ahead on our ammo. Let's factor in our armor decay. Let's see, armor. So just under a ped there. And we probably used another maybe ped or 2 on the gun. So yeah, we made 2 or 3 ped on this run, which isn't astronomical by any means, but hey, profit is profit. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found tonight's discussion enjoyable. As always, if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my future Entropia universe content, as well as my other video game content. And you can do all that at the next screen, or you can watch a different video or head over to my Entropia universe playlist. And until next time, guys, you have a good one.